right behind me is the start of the West Highland Way. Very convenient that, of course, because a lot of people tend to travel it several people a year. And got myself my whole gear and everything, and even a map which will help me get through in case I get lost. Hopefully nothing like that would ever happen. Now, of course, recently, I'll explain later in the video that, you know, only just recently someone actually died on the West Highland Way after getting lost. But hopefully that won't be me. That's the last thing I wanted to do. It is going to be a 5-day walk. Well, 5 days, about. But basically I'll be taking rest stops along the way. Who knows what mysterious adventures await beyond me. And with that, I was on my way across the West Highland Way. Mind you, the very morning didn't start out too well, but after seeing the sceneries, I was determined more than ever, especially for the fundraiser I was raising money for. Well, so far I've gone just over a mile. There's still another 95 miles to go, of course. And luckily, there's a few signs that are pointing the direction for the West Highland Way, so I won't be too lost. Oh, by the way, this is the charity I'm fundraising for, called Mind. I'm almost raising £200 so far. It's going up as we speak, as I've got people on Facebook and other platforms of social media funding me. But mind you, it's a pretty wonderful wilderness, this. But luckily, I just basically got everything I'm going to need. Never overpack. Because the thing is, I'm carrying like 10 kilos or less on my back. So doing a mileage walk while carrying 10 kilos is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Mind you, it is a beautiful place to... Oh, it's fitting, a beautiful place to walk your dogs. And now luckily these paths are really helpful. I think I might need a map here, hold on. I'm just going to double check my map and make sure I'm going the right way, because when I see these and mingle from what I think, well, it's confusing this, isn't it? 4 miles later, and I had approached what looked like a huge lake. So far, I've covered about 4 miles now, and it's only been an hour since I've started this journey. What a record of that, isn't it? At least I think it's 4, because here I am. It's called Craiglangan Loch. I think it's pronounced Craiglangan Loch. It's a really nice river, this. I mean, a beautiful place for wildlife like swans and such. It's like a, it's like a reserve, so I would not bring a boat. I would not race a boat on this. But it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place indeed. I mean, I've seen a few beautiful sceneries around here, and you know, this trip is actually more than amazing than I thought. I mean, I was expecting just pathways mostly, but when you see stuff like this, it just brings out the inspiration of us all. It's truly an amazing place, this. Right, so this area is, well, basically it's partly private landish, but people are still okay to go through as it's part of the Highland Walkway. As it says on the sign, there's livestock here. Well, there should be livestock. Now look at that. They're growing pine trees. Now these are the kind of trees you need. One of the ingredients to make Scotch whiskey. The wood from these trees they used to make the barrels, where the whiskey will mature for 2 years, which is how it gets that unique smoky taste. Sorry, that smoky taste that it was. That, and they used malt, they use malt instead of barley. Unlike other whisky companies use barley or grain, while Scotch just use malt as part of their traditional recipe. I think I've just done over 4 miles according to the map. My first stop will be Balmahar, where my first my first B&B will be, where I'll stop for where I'll rest for the night. So that's 4 miles down, just another 6.5 to go. Sorry, 16.5 to go. I'll stop for lunch at some point when it's lunchtime, but I've still got the energy to keep going, basically. Right, I've just covered about over 6 miles now, which means I'm just about 1/3 away from, roughly just about 1/3 away from my destination to Balmahar. Should be more than 1/3 anyway. I'm just a bit dazed at the moment. I mean, look at this nice sunny weather and everything. Just need to find my shades. They can wait. Mind you, it has been quite an adventure so far. Though I made it nearly all the way there. I'm just going to take a quick rest stop here for a minute, and then I'm going to carry on, because I need to rest and whatnot. And then by the time I get to this other place called Perk, I think it was, I can stop for lunch. Yeah, I'll stop for lunch and then carry on the rest of the way, and hopefully I should be in Balmahar before nightfall. I have another 6 hours to get there. I'm getting near Dryman, which would be one of the vacay points if you decide to stop now. So which is all the rest stops, where they got an Indian campsite and everything. But it turns out that between here and there, it is 2 miles of road. So which means I've got to avoid cars, oncoming cars. Bit of a bummer, innit? Well, that's because when this trail was first made, the trail was originally here. This used to be part of the original trail itself. But then, at some point, probably in the 60s, I think, they converted it into a road as people lived here, safe and sound. That van passed me earlier on the other way. He must be lost. So, another 2 miles on this road, and then back on I'm on the trail-ish, but back on the actual trail where there's no cars, I'm trying to say. So, I've only got about 7 miles left to do before, I've got to do it before it gets dark, of course. It is nearly 2 o'clock. I should be able to get there. Probably leg it a little bit. I mean, I would have stopped over at Dryman probably for a rest, but can't waste any time. It's important, it's very important that I get through before the end of the day. It's dusk about 6, so which means if it's 2 o'clock now, then that means I've got 4 hours. Well, I better make haste. Luckily, most of these trails are marked anyway, which makes it very useful when I want to get somewhere.
According to the map, it appears that this next part of the trail I was heading into what looked like a forest.
Walking through the woods right now. Didn't walk too far from the town itself. It's a bit confusing, but luckily there's a path right here where it'll just lead me straight out. Oh man, I tell you, the things I went to in just one day, and yet there's another 4 days to go. 4 days of this, 4 more days of this. What are the odds there? Just come across an old camping area where someone was taking refuge, and the path continues on to there towards. Look at this forest there. nice and quiet in here as well. I mean, the only wildlife in here are the deers. So I thought I heard something then. Hold on. Oh, it's my bag. You know, the most honest thing is, I think I'm the only man in the world who's doing. I think I'm the only man in the world at the moment who's doing this right now. So, you know, doing the full walk. It's not the right season. But yeah. I mean, if we're counting hours, you know, I don't know if resting still counts as, you know, time length. But, you know, the time I've walked through it all. I mean, those who sprinted, I don't think that's true. A guy who claimed that it took him 18 hours to sprint through this. There's no way he could have sprinted through it, because back there were like rocks and everything. You'd break your leg. I don't think he was doing this track. I think he was just saying to Fort Williams was going off track. Oh dear. I heard about that direction. I don't know what it's called exactly, but in this direction, a lot of people went in this direction and got lost. Luckily, no one was lost forever. They got found at some point. But this is not the area where someone, you know... Mind you, these woods are a bit spooky. Just kicked a stud. That made me jump. Now that right there is a Scottish wildcat. Or a colleague of mine used to think bobcat. They're not like bobcats, you know, they're not a threat to human beings at all. You see, they're wild, they can't be petted, they can't be tamed. But they are ferocious to prey animals like birds and mice and such. More ferocious than a regular cat. Oh, he's coming up. See what I mean? Ferocious. Hello. Alright, I'll get away. Okay, so still on the trail. Balmahara is just up ahead. That'll be where my first stop for tonight. It is quarter to four now, which means roughly I've been out. So roughly that's about 8 hours of walking, non-stop walking. And that'll be a total of 21 miles. As soon as I get to Balmahara, that is. I'm done for the day. I mean, tomorrow I'm gonna get up. It's gonna be an extra 7 miles longer, so gotta get up really early, and that's gonna be even more of a challenge.
After reaching Balmahara, I checked in for the night.
In the morning, I went to bed today. Well, let's get started. So, it is just about the crack of dawn. Like I said, I needed like an extra hour just to make sure I get to Crenwick, I think it's called, before dark. It is 9.5 hours walk, and just need to make sure that I got enough times before it got dark. Got supplies and everything, but do I have the stamina is the big question. Plus I want to, for this one, I want to reduce my recording, because I need to set my phone battery, because I'm having trouble charging it with these power packs, and I need my phone more importantly. Still positive, however, you know, enjoying the view. Oh, this is called Lake Lochmond. Sorry, this is called Loch Lomond, according to the map. I mean, this pathway, the easy thing about this pathway, it runs the majority of this path, part of the route, runs along this loch, so that kind of makes it easier to find my way. So if I'm ever off path, just follow the loch. It's like they say, when you're out in the open and you don't know where to go, always find the nearest river and follow it. That's the best way to get out. So apparently I've been walking for 2 hours now, and I've barely done 6 miles, so that could be a problem. If every 2 hours 5 miles passes, then I've got to do 27 of them in total. I don't think I'm going to make it. But it's okay, I've got lights, so I've got a tent, so just in case the worst of it has yet to come. Right, so far, according to the map, it says it should still, according to this part of the map, I've just passed Critterbengan's Lodge, and I've still got another 20 miles to go. No, 19 miles to go, sorry. Well, that's better than nothing, eh? But the thing is, this can't be a road. I mean, look at it. I mean, not even a Land Rover can drive through this. And sometimes, this map is really annoying because whenever I look at it, I feel like I'm getting closer, but I realise I'm further away than I thought. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing this, risking my life. But I'm safer than most people, because most people tend to just wander off into the unknown. But I'm not wandering into the unknown, I'm wandering. I mean, this is the wilderness, but this is a path which was made. It's just about being safe. But the challenge is the distance, that's the main thing. Oh my god, wow. Goats. Mountain goats. Actual mountain goats. Now then, right over here, that little hut over there is called a bothy. If you don't know what a bothy is like, it's basically an abandoned hut of sorts. It's where you can take refuge in case of bad weather. But I haven't got time to stop and look right now. I've got to keep going before it gets dark. But they're very ideal, those, They make good shelters in case you have to get out of the rain or you're miles away from near civilization. But at least you've got somewhere to stay the night. But that's why it's always ideal to bring food and anything that will keep you warm, like coats at least. Oh, all the many wildlife you see here. It's amazing. Man, after nearly 4 hours, just nothing but jungle, and I come to this pretty picture, it makes it worth the walk. Happy to say. Just gonna rest for a few minutes, and then I'll make way for the rest of the walk onto Craigie Evan. Hopefully there'll be food where I can see. That's good. Just helping a few. There were other hikers back there who also trail along. They were from Ireland. I thought I lent them my map. I lent them my map a bit just so they could get a rough idea where they're going. Apparently they're doing the same trail as me, all the way to Fort William. You see, they're doing it in 6 days, but I'm going to do it in 5, which some people believe is almost impossible. I mean, 5 days, it's practically never been done. It's almost never been done. But that's what I'm going to do. I've worked it out so it's possible. Right, I've got another 5 hours to go. I've had a nice rest and a bit of lunch. Got some... Unfortunately, they didn't have proper food at the hotel yet, so I got myself some chocolate bars, which will keep me stable at least, just until I get to the hotel. So, bad news is, I've been walking over an hour, and I haven't done 2 miles yet. I mean, I'm on the 2 mile point now, and because the whole pathway has not been smooth. Another reason why I haven't been filming myself with the tripod, because this is not a really good surface. I'm going to need all my hands for the job, which is why I'm not taking much footage. And sad, it's drizzling a bit, but nothing I can't handle. But the worst case is time. Time is against me, so I'm running against the clock to get to my hotel before it's pitch black. So right here is called a bothy. Like I was saying earlier in the video, it's a place where people could stay if they want to keep out the rain or other bad weather. Oh god, stinks in here. Yeah, someone's been in here alright. Yeah, people come in here, they could light a fire. Too bad there's no water. Could really use some. Fire blanket just in case. I'm not going to stay in here too long because it looks like someone was... Oh, it's got empty bottle of Scotch whiskey. It looks like someone was using... Personally, I think someone's been... Oh, sorry, my nose. I think someone's been living in there a while. I noticed a bottle of shampoo and that. I mean, the only thing to bathe in is this water. That's nasty, that. Right here is the campsite. This is where I was hoping to stay for the night, but it's off season, which is one of my big mistakes of going this time of year, because everything is kind of off season at the moment, and because usually it's between April and September, that's when it's best to go. I mean, in fact, just on my way here, since the start of the beginning, I've noticed a lot of places aren't open, so and obviously it's just off season. So I've got to carry on to Craig Something, another 7 miles to go before dark. Three miles left to go. Didn't think I was going to make it, but wow, amazing. And look at that beautiful sunset. Oh, that's a sign the sun's going down, which means I've got an hour, which I should do 3 miles in an hour. But this place looks like it used to be a farm, but I don't know if everybody lives here still, because I don't see how anyone could really. There's no cars, no anything. That would make a good boy, I think they call them. Oh, I forgot. I'm a bit dazed because I've been walking. I've been walking nearly 5 hours straight. I mean, earlier it was 6 hours and now it's 5 hours. Oh, amazing! I'm alive. I don't know how I do it. I've just did the impossible. Like no one else could ever do it. I don't think anyone's ever walked 27 miles straight. I don't know. Walking while carrying weight will be different than running and not carrying weight. I'll let you be the judge. 1 mile to go. Oh my goodness. I really can't think at the moment. Just follow this path and I'll be there. Oh my goodness. Oh, nearly there.
At last, after over 11 hours of walking and 27.5 miles, I have finally reached Clainlanalec, where I would stay for the next night.
Yes, nearly 12 hours now, and I finally made it. Now there's the train station. The train from Fort William is how I'll be getting back home, of course. But this here will be my calling point if I decide to back out. If I decide to back out early, you know, for health reasons. I don't think that's the way. Is it? Oh. So that's a good thing to do. Just gonna go to the shops, get a few things for the night, and then sort this out. Ow. Right, so just got some supplies for the next trip. It's only 13 miles today, so half what I was doing today. And it's a good thing too, because my legs are a bit my legs are a bit woozy, so I'm not gonna. So I'll be a little bit slower on the way. Oh, yesterday I was gonna tell you, but I was a bit in a hurry. So about them mountain goats I saw. It's kind of amazing, really, because you know, as you all probably know, mountain goats are very famous for climbing skills. You know, they can climb even the steepest and dangerous of cliffs. They can climb just for food and water. What was I going to say? Mind you, I was in a bit of a panic mode yesterday, knowing that I almost couldn't make it, but luckily it was right there. The people at the B&B made me a really nice breakfast this morning, and that'll keep me going for a while. Now the best thing about this town, Crangalicquy, I think it was called, Crangalicquy, whatever. It'll be on the map. I mean, the Caledonian Slipper comes through here, and another pathway there, but that's not the way I'm going. I'm just basically going back the way I came, under the train station and back on the West Highland Way. I reckon it'll be a good 5 hours, or 6. That'll do for me today. Now the problem is, Bridge-on-Walkie has no shops, so I've topped up with tomorrow's run as well. So in the least, I'll make it. Now right here is a bit of a depressing sight. A lot of trees have been cut down and fallen down due to bad weather, and I think there was once a plague here of some sorts, you know, that infects trees so badly that some trees have actually fallen out and been, look at that, rooted. I mean, wow. Usually people cut them by the base, so usually the stump's there, but see the whole root being pulled up from its roots. That's another thing. I mean, look at that. It's like a wasteland. So far, I've covered about over 3 miles, almost into Tandrick. Apparently, it's a really nice smooth path, which at last, just back there, it was all bumps, and it wasn't really good for my legs. But now I see a nice smooth path, and thank God, I can take it easy for a bit as well. I think I'll stop at Tandrick just for lunch and then carry on, because I want to make my supplies in there last the next day, of course, because like I said, there's no shops between Bridge-on-Walkie and Crinlamac, I think it was, yeah, my fourth, so where I'll be staying for the 4th night. There's no shops, so always got to be prepared. I mean, there'll be water at least, that's the most important thing, but always make sure you've got food at least. At least little, essential food only. I mean, 1 chocolate bar might be alright, but what you need is mostly protein and carbs. A simple sandwich, basically a simple sandwich, is just enough to get you through a day. Although, man could go days without food 30 days max, if that's, sorry, it says that 30 days man could go without food, but that's only if they don't do any activity, if they stay still for a while. For this, you probably have at least 10 days. So if you're out here and you're walking, struggling, starving, you have at least about 10 days, probably more. Probably a little more if you're lucky. But water, now water is the most priority. It's all about thirst, replenishment, preventing dehydration, because dehydration can take you in just 3 days. And plus, after the 2 days, when you get to the second day, you get very weak, so you wouldn't be able to move at all. Don't try to get experimental, but those are the facts. For some reason, I get the feeling I'm being followed. Okay, that was nasty. I have to say, this is a really nice place. Peaceful, less houses, a place to eat and drink. I mean, another place to drink and that. I mean, if I was to go anywhere along this West Highland line, if I were to come back, it'd be here. Right here is where I would come to. It's definitely worth coming here. Tandrum it's called. So the place is called Tandrum, which is, oh, it is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I'm just gonna have some lunch and then I'm gonna head off. I don't want like a meal because I need to save that for the hotel. Just want something a bit light because greasy foods and too much of that can't be bad for you. Oh look, there's like a souvenir shop. Might just pick something up.
After a good lunch and a good rest, I then went back on the trail. And to my surprise, this happened next.
I just went in a circle. You see, further down that way, I cut off just before the train station to come in here to the village, to this mini mart. And it turns out the trail comes from, sorry, back on the trail it comes to the same spot. Oh well, I mean, on the bright side, at least I've done the trail, I didn't miss it. It's better to miss it, plus I'm not in a rush to get to Bridge of Orkney. I've got plenty of time. Just another 6 miles to do and that'll be it for the day. I can use the time to heal my feet and everything. Apparently I went a little off track back there. You see, according to the map it said I go under, I go across the railway line and out to the other. But when I did that, there was like a bridge that led there was like a little path-ish. Well, I thought it was a path. I noticed why it looked odd for a second. I went under the bridge and I came out and looked in a dead land. I looked at the map and realised that the next path required walking along the railway line, which is here. So I climbed up the hill, found the railway line, followed it, and now I'm back on the path. So luckily I didn't try to do anything. I mean, there was this other path of sorts, but it looked like it was that path there. It looked like it was leading right into the mountain area, where in that direction there's basically nothing for like 20 miles. So to be honest, there should have been signs there saying don't go this way, because some people are going to get, if I got confused, surely some other people will. But you know the best thing about this route, Bridge of Orkney, this railway goes to the Bridge of Orkney, so I'm practically following this railway line. So that makes this part of the journey easy-ish. So, but when I get to the Bridge of Orkney, that will be the last call point if I want to give up this. If I want to give up this journey and get the train back home, that will be my call point. But nope, I plan to see this through to the end. I'll only call off if I have a serious injury, which hopefully that won't happen. You know, there are many things that people say, this place was seen on the internet, but no, there are just some things that can only be seen by the naked eye, by human vision, and scenery like this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I'm so glad I actually decided to do this. I mean, a bit of adventure, a challenge, and a fundraiser. something to be remembered by. I mean, Tom Davis, the man to conquer, probably the first man to make it across the West Highland Way in just 5 days. When I told people that about 5 days, everyone was gobsmacked thinking, is it possible? Some people think it isn't possible because a lot of people tried for 5 days, but the thing is, it could be done during season. You see, I'm exploring during off-season, and during off-season it means that resources and accommodations are limited. A lot of places I could have stayed at were closed, or could have got a rate were closed. So that makes it more difficult, or more reasons to keep going. Plus, so far I've not relied on my tent, and that's a good thing, because if you go with a tent, you're doing it worse for you. You see, a person who goes to B&Bs and hikes has a better chance of getting there than a person in a tent. Because when you're in a tent, you're not bathing, you're not properly bathing, you're going to run out of food and everything, and plus, it's always not safe, especially in harsh weathers. But like I said, I planned this whole trip in advance, and I just know it could be done. I mean, yesterday I already did the impossible. Being able to travel 27 miles in just one day, and before, from dawn till before sunset. Well, technically it was sort of sunset when I got there, but now that is a record, that. Just gonna rest for a bit and then hike on to the rest of the Bridge of Orkney.
I reached Brig of Orkney and spent the night in one of the most fanciest hotels I think I've ever been in.
Well, I'm just leaving Bridge of Orkney now, and as you can see, it is frosty. And to think there was actually someone over there camping in this weather, I mean, oh my goodness. Well, I don't know what to say, but yeah, this is definitely not a good time to go hiking at all. But because it's that cold, a lot of bad things are gonna happen. I might get hypothermia, but as long as I keep moving, I should keep warm. But I'm afraid my phone will short circuit, and therefore base camp, which is my dad, won't be able to find me. So that's the whole purpose of how. Because when you go alone, you need at least guidance. You need to know that someone's still watching you, because otherwise, anything goes wrong, they won't know where to find you. Right. I'm gonna make this it's gonna be a 22-mile walk, because there's a spot I want to see, which is a bit of a half-mile diversion. So I need an extra mile for the 100-mile anyway, so a good excuse. Plus it'll keep me going. Right, off we go. Bit of a fun fact. During the 1800s, you see, there were like many in the West Highlands. There were like many mines and lumber businesses, a place of work. So that's why you see all these old buildings used to be houses, used to be settlements. In fact, a place like this probably had like more houses, like in Bram here. There used to be more houses back in the day, but towards the 20th century, probably sometime in between, mines started closing down due to running out of resources or expenses, and probably because of lumber businesses having these new trucks which enable people to go from major towns, there was almost no reason to live here anymore. So basically a lot of these houses have been demolished, but some still stand as a bit of a, converted into B&B, like that one is converted into a holiday, or some people like to get away from the public. I mean, believe me, it doesn't get much safer than this when it comes to being in the countryside. You're about far away from danger. Back there was a crossroads. I went round in a circle just a few times just to get that extra mile I need for my 100-mile walk. And then when I get to Fort William, I'll probably do an extra hour's walk around the town so I can get that extra 2 miles I need, so I can get the last 2 miles I'll need. And then that's my 100 miles. It goes on forever, I know. Just thinking how I started. It started out with a public, what looked like a park, then looks like the plains. Then it later on led to rocky hills, rocky mountains, farmers fields, you name it. It's like different worlds into one.
Despite my legs hurting badly, a part of me was saying to give up, but the other part of me said kept going because I was determined to see the West Highland Through Trail to the end, even though I felt like I wasn't going to make it, but I still carried on. Now this next part's kind of funny. I had the camera facing the wrong way around, but I had reached the highest point of the West Highland Way, which was about 1,600 feet. Sorry, 1,600 feet. And they say if you yell the name of the person you hate so much and curse him, it brings you good luck. And so I did.
Long. Hello. Look at you, eh? So, I've just had my lunch at the Kingswood Hut. Sorry, the King's House Hotel. It's a little rest stop back in the early days, the dark ages, of course. Now, on the way, right, some hiker who was going in the opposite direction passed by and told me that on this next part of the trail, there's a thing called the Devil's Staircase. If you're wondering what it is, it's not exactly. It's got nothing to do with the devil himself. It's just the term devil actually means torture. So basically, it's a kind of staircase that when you climb it, it's long, it's hard, it's like torturing you. And seeing how I got a bit of sore legs, it's going to be much of a torture. I bet you're all wondering, how am I doing this? How am I still going, even on sore legs and feet? Well, that's the thing. You see, for some reason, as I'm moving, it gets less painful. It gets really painful when I'm either going downhill, bumpy hills, or going too slow. I'm just amazed. I mean, the total journey, I've only got less than 30 miles to go. I think that's 25 into, no, 59. Yeah, it's about 28. Yeah, 28 miles. No, didn't get my maths wrong. No, 25. Yeah, 25 miles until Fort William. But I'm not gonna make it all the way to. I'm not gonna make it all the way to Fort William tonight. I'm stopping over in Kilmarnock, I think it was called. I can't remember. It's a more civil town, so you know it's got more resources. So it's actually a better place to stay than all the other places I've been to be honest. Right, onward to Devil's Staircase. I'm at the start of what is known as the Devil's Staircase. As it says, the section of the West Highland Way which was originated on military roads constructed all the 1750 link between Fort William and Stirling's. I guess, like I said, because it's torture, that's why they call it a Devil's Staircase, because when you walk up it's torture. But I tell you, it's also a tourist attraction as well, where people come here just to climb the stairs. Oh, I tell you, I almost forgot what day it was. I keep thinking it was Friday, but I can't remember anymore. Right, time to climb Devil's Staircase and onto home. Ish. Don't think I've ever seen a robin up close before. Hello. They didn't call this Devil's Staircase for no reason. I mean, apparently this whole thing is like 2,000 feet high. A little over 2,000 feet. I mean, to think, earlier, Thursday, I was climbing over rocks. First day, going through forests. Second day, climbing through rocks. Third day, yesterday, going through country, going through farms. And now, fourth day, I'm climbing mountains. I mean, it's a different challenge each time. I've climbed mountains before, just like the time I climbed the mountains of Ireland. No biggie, it'll be a piece of cake. So I've just left Devil's Staircase. I'm in a zone where there's no signal, so I can't retract at the moment. But this is a really interesting thing. Apparently my voice can go through the mountains like this. Listen. That is amazing. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear my voice going around, echoing. So I just made it out of the pass. It was a really tricky but scary, but all that yodeling just, made it easier. On the other side of that ridge is Killanarnock, which is the town I'm staying at, and just a few miles, so about another 10 miles further north, will be Ben Nevis, the tallest mountain in the UK. Yep, this is the reason why a lot of people stay here, and both Fort William and Killimannock, I think it was called. Sorry, I can't really pronounce them very well in minute days. That's the reason why people stay there, to climb the mountain to the summit. I mean, I would love to go up it, but I haven't got the strength and time either. So, and besides, my duty today is to get to my duty this week is to get to Fort William. Cyclist, you can't cycle on this path. Right, onto the town. Well, I finally made it. The time's now 4 o'clock, so it took less than. It didn't take long, of course, but that was a really tricky climb. I never thought I'd make it to the other side. I mean, I was just up there about an hour ago. Right, I'm gonna check into my hotel, and then I'm gonna get some dinner and call it a night, and then get ready for the final walk tomorrow morning. What I'm also gonna do is I've done like an extra half a mile, so that's to add on to my total. Tomorrow, when I get to Fort William, that will be 27.5 miles I've done in total, including the detours. And what I'll do is I'll probably do an extra 2.5 miles in Fort William itself, and to make up for the 100 I need exactly 100. You see, that's the rules. So, my final day on the West Highland Way hike. I'll tell you, I had a really good night's sleep last night. I mean, good TV, good service. Really nice place to have dinner was just over there. In fact, I'm going back to the same place where I had dinner before. It was a long walk, but my legs don't hurt as much. I've only got like 15 miles left to do. And then when I get to Fort William, I'm going to walk another 2.5 just to make up for what I've lost. I mean, it's kind of amazing. I mean, look at this. A tiny village, a civilised village, that's got a shop and pubs and everything that you need to, a reason to stay here. Sorry. And it's in the middle of a mountain range. I mean, it's like Pompeii without a volcano. Right, onward to the West Highland Way. Got myself some breakfast, a bit, croissants and a Red Bull to feel awake. The sound of waterfalls always helps. They actually help measure the distance. Right, here we go to Fort William, where the journey will end. At the moment, weather conditions are damp. So apparently it's more forestry and climbing. It's just like Balmaha. Well, it was part after Balmaha. Except I left an hour earlier at 6 in the morning. Well, 6:30 we'll say. And it's now 7:30. It's 7:30 now, so because I want to get there first thing to do those extra 2 miles, and I need new trousers because I'm not wearing these on the train. I've been wearing these trousers 3 days straight. I know it's disgusting, but believe me, can't carry too much. Point is, when hiking for several days, you only carry the essentials, and you must travel as light as possible. Because me, I got 20 kilos on my back, and I've been carrying this bag for nearly 100 miles this week. Well, more than 100 miles if you count. Sorry, more than 100 miles if you count walking in and out of Glasgow stations. So, sorry, if you count walking in and out of stations. I think I've done a mile. Just another 14 to go. Well, check out this beautiful meadow among the mountains. I guess today it's also mountains and forests. I mean, I'm just so glad. I've only got like 9 miles to do. Well, 9 miles on this trail and then an extra 2.5. Whatever, you guys get the picture. So 11.5 miles to do. Oh dear. I mean, look at that beautiful meadow. Just, I mean, there were a lot of sheep back there, so to speak. I always wonder how the farmer rounds them up, especially. Oh dear. I mean, there's no way you can bring a vehicle on this road. Maybe a Land Rover. But wow, just think how difficult this will be. The trips you have to make. Mind you, these trails back in the day, as I was told, they were linked to other towns. They used to be really reliable whenever roads were blocked. Well, you wouldn't bring cars down here, but I mean, this pathway was properly made before cars were actually. In fact, roads were built before the cars. So just all the newer roads we see nowadays were built after the cars, of course. You know, everything was done on foot. Or by horse. In fact, bet you, horses trailed. You know, they used to travel horses along here. In fact, just around that mountain is like the road that leads from Kinlochleven and Fort William. That was never there, obviously. It was most likely that. Sorry, I'm just making sure that yeah. It was most likely that this was the only trail there was, and horses and merchants would travel along this trail between the two towns and deliver their goods. That's my theory. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, but it just makes sense if you think about it. So, just only 4 miles to go now. You know, it's actually interesting. When you see 5 miles, you know, when you see 3 miles on a map, it looks small. But when you actually see, you know, when you see 3 miles in your own eyes for yourself, it's just that terrible. Hello? Ole ole! I always love throwing my voice in the mountain. Right, according to the map, I should be coming up. Yeah, hold on. There's a place called Glen Nevis. It's like, it's not that far from Ben Nevis, but it's like the next best thing. It's the Glen Nevis Visitor Centre. I think I'll stop there for I'll stop there for lunch, and then the last 2 miles I'll carry on, because that's where the plan is when I get to Fort William, I'm going to keep walking for at least another hour, and that will do the last few miles I need for the 100 miles, because my average pace is about 2.9 miles an hour, meaning roughly 22 minutes per mile, give or take. So just an hour's walk and another hour's walk after arriving at Fort William, and I'll complete my 100 in only 5 days, or less, they say. But consider the hour-wise, it's actually sort of like less than 5 days. I mean, 5 days is 110 hours. So 5 days is 110 hours, and I've done it in less than 110 hours, including the rest times. Right, I decided I found a good reason to do that extra mile. I walked a mile off the track onto this track known as, just bear with me, I need to get the map. This area here used to be called the Andun Fort. According to what I saw on the board back there, it said that it was burned down 2,000 years ago. So 2,000 years ago it was built, and there was very issues about wealth or something. Something about issues, and then villagers would come up here, so they came up here and burned it all down to the ground. And around here, where it used to be, and now there's like nothing left of it. Man, I tell you, I thought, when it looked small, the map wasn't very accurate. It looked quick, it looked closer, but it was actually further than I thought. It took a whole mile. There's the track where I was about 10 minutes ago. No, 20 minutes ago, probably more. And I've got to go back on that just to get to Fort William. But it was worth the detour. I needed that extra mile anyway, so... Oh, as you can see, that is a long way down. So, I'm going to need all my hands for this. Mind you, this could be a perfect spot to set a bench. What I'm seeing right now is a really nice view. Could be a good way to have my lunch. Don't want to lose that. Yeah. Only another 3.5 miles to go. Making it. So as soon as I get to Fort William, just a mile and a half to do, and then that's my 100. I mean, the worst part is, I'm so close to raising £500 for my the charity I've chosen. It's excellent. Really excellent. Just finish this and then there's 4 miles to do. I mean, I've hurt my knee a bit, but I can endure the pain.
Just as I was close to home, sadly though, one of the worst things happened to a hiker. I had a little bit of an incident and I injured my knee. Therefore, I had to limp the last 6 miles to the end of the finish line for the West Highland Way Trail. It was not easy.
Yes! Made it. The West Highland Way. Made it to the end. Now, just another 1.5 miles to do for my 100 challenge. And then after that, I'm just going to settle down for a while, explore Fort William, see what it's got, and enjoy my day. I'll see you guys around later. So I just packed my bag with things I'm going to be taking tomorrow morning on my way back. And a bit of good news, I've managed to raise my goal of £500 and I've just done 100 miles in 5 days. I've actually done it. I just can't believe it. I mean, it has been a really interesting week. I mean, I saw a lot of good... Just thinking about how this journey began. I mean, it began with just a simple village trail. Then it led on to woods, rocks, then on to mountain climbing, and then on to meadows and valleys, and finally here into civilization. It's like exploring the wild, like back to nature. And I've reached my goal of £500, which, for mine, the charity I'm fundraising for, I'm just so happy right now. I could cry. It's so amazing. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all again once. Right now, I need to rest because I am knackered. My legs are giving away. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all around. This is Tomedy, the 100 miles challenge in 5 days, all on the West Highlands. Goodbye.